Peer pressure.
I mean, that's
That's
real
all
thing.
that's in sync with our theme.
In sync.
In sync.
sorry.
Well, wait, that wasn't like a
2000s.
1995 thing. That was like a
Yeah.
2000s thing.
Yeah, well, 99-ish.
I
Yeah.
remember in sync.
I definitely didn't listen to NSYNC in high. Well, in high school, I was listening to like Nirvana and shit. I was one of those kids. I would have been on the lawn probably.
I listened to No Doubt in elementary school.
I did not like No Doubt. I'll tell you what I did
No Doubt.
listen to though was ska. I listened to a lot of ska music, and there was the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were in this movie, and I was really hoping to see somebody skank. Nobody skanked. I didn't see any skanking.
I have
in
no
this
idea
movie.
what a skank is.
It's literally a dance, and I'm just gonna back up so you can see. Let me see if I can.
I'm dying.
All you do is this.
Oh.
I didn't know that had a name.
For the listeners, Nicole just skanked.
That's a skank. That is what you do when you're dancing to ska music in the 90s.
It's a ska skank.
It's a ska skank. And I didn't see any skanking in this movie, and I think Amy Heckerling missed out on a crucial piece of 90s history. She did bring in the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. That was a real band.
Okay.
They had a big they weren't the kind of ska I listened to, because I listened to like the Specials and like Mephistopheles, and
I remember you telling me that No Doubt is not real ska, and you were like salty about the fact
No
that
Doubt
they were
is
like,
not real ska. They are pop.
Yeah.
With they're pop that have adopted some ska elements.
Ska infused. Ska infused pop.
You know how people say that LaCroix isn't like that. LaCroix is like
gross.
The hint of strawberry burps or something.
Yeah.
That's what No Doubt is to ska.
The hint of ska burps.
It's like the hint of ska burps. And the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones was just like a big popular pop band that, I mean, they were more ska than No Doubt, I guess, but anyway.
I've never heard ska before. I just liked No Doubt, like the lyrics. I liked her voice. I liked the sound of it. I didn't know I wasn't old enough to know what ska was or wasn't when I was in elementary school.
I used to go listen to ska at the old God, what the fuck was that place called that they tore down on North Avenue? The Masquerade. I used to go to the Masquerade. I used to go to the Masquerade, go see some ska bands.
I used to go to the Masquerade.
I saw the Scotalites there. Every ska band had the word ska in it. Not always, but most of the time.
It's pretty hilarious.
Okay. Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. A podcast exclusively about ska music. Actually, that's not true. This is a podcast where we watch movies from your past or present, and we talk about how the women were portrayed in them. I am one of your hosts, Nicole.
I'm your other host, Sarah.
And returning with us today to talk about ska, among other things, including the film Clueless, we have actor, audition coach, creative collaborator, Vanessa Aranegui.
Wow!
Thank you, Vanessa, for returning.
Yay!
Vanessa's so fun. We love Vanessa.
So we're having a good old time talking about this movie, Clueless. So if you didn't listen to the first episode, go back and check that out. And if you did, welcome back. We're here to continue peeling back the layers of this movie.
Yep.
The deep layers.
Deep plaid tartan layers.
So much plaid.
We're literally pulling back the pleats.
Yes.
Of this movie. But before we do that, what have you guys been watching? Anybody got anything you've been watching?
I do.
What have you been watching, Sarah?
So I think the last episode, we talked about how I'm on an HGTV kick.
Mm-hmm. Nice. We did. Back in October, we talked about that. Yeah.
Right. So I'm still on that kick, still on it. Okay. My next show that I've been binging is Property Brothers, which are the twins who...
Are they hot twins?
They're hotties.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're, it's Drew and Jonathan Scott. Drew is the real estate agent, and Jonathan is the contractor / interior designer.
So one wears a suit and one wears like a
Yes.
tank and a tool
Flannel.
belt.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
Yes.
much.
Okay.
They
all right.
are hot as fuck.
Oh.
Also,
So this is a thirsty HGTV
thirsty
show.
HGTV show for sure. Jonathan is by far, to me, is the hottest one. Like Drew is kind of like straight laced and prim and proper and
So
kind of
you
uptight.
like the guy who gets down there and gets dirty and just like
Yes,
puts
and
those,
Jonathan
rips
is
up
like
those floorboards.
yes, and he also can design well
Okay.
too, which is like not usually you don't see a contractor and an interior designer in one.
Mm-hmm.
But also trivia fact: Jonathan Scott has been dating Zoe Deschanel for almost a year
What?
now.
Mm.
Mhm. They're a big thing on Instagram. Like they are just like totally in love. And
Wait,
so
are they married or they're dating? Because
no,
I thought she
they're-
has a kid, right?
she has a kid. She got divorced from her
Gotcha.
last husband. She's had
Got
a
it.
lot of failed relationships, very public failed relationships.
Well,
that makes me sad.
that's hard. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we can all relate. We can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Property Brothers, go check it out for some double your fun
Hunky gut jobs.
hunky couches. They should have you do their. They should have you do their social media, Sarah. That's a good tag right there. I recently watched the film The Thing. I mean, I've seen it before.
Ooh, I love The Thing.
It's actually one of my favorite
Yeah.
films.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
possibly my favorite John Carpenter film. I just love the tension of all those guys up there not being able to trust one another. I just the tension. I think the tension in the characters is really what does it for me. I mean, the sound, the visual effects, the practical effects are incredible. That's also really great.
Did you ever watch the episode of the X-Files that's kind of based on The Thing?
No.
It's good too. But the Thing is the best.
I never saw
yeah.
X-Files.
I haven't either. What's wrong with me? I know.
X-Files is good.
It seems like a show that I would like. So my daughter, Charlotte, who's 10, wants to watch all these scary movies, and I'm trying to rack my brain for like what can I show her that's like that doesn't have a lot of boobs in it, basically. And so The Thing came to mind. I was like, that's all dudes. There's no boobs in that movie. So so we watched it, and I was, there's a lot of, it's very gory, and I turned to her at the first time the dog transforms, and I was like, if this is too gross, just let me know. We could turn it off. And she was like, "This is awesome,
bitchin."
This is well, she didn't say bitch.
I know.
She
I
wouldn't say
know.
that right. But she did say, she was like, once she kind of caught onto the plot of the movie, she was like, "Oh, this is just like Among Us," which that video game that everyone's playing right now. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen The Thing, listeners, it's an excellent film. It's very tense. It made me think like I'd love to write something like that, like something that takes place in one location with a bunch of characters and this sort of tension of, who can you trust?
Yeah, it's a kind of, and then there were none type story, but also kind of like, yeah, it's very tense, very dramatic, sci-fi horror, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I would put it under the category of sci-fi horror. So if you guys, those of you who haven't seen the film, it came out in like, I think 1981, maybe. But basically, also, I'd like to give props to 80s Kurt Russell.
Oh, yes.
Who can get it? Sarah, you know how I feel about Kurt Russell.
I know how you feel about Kurt Russell.
Especially this Kurt Russell.
It's been a while since I've
Shaggy,
seen The Thing.
disgruntled, whiskey drinking, chess playing 80s Kurt Russell. Flamethrower wielding 80s Kurt Russell. Anyway, so this movie there's a bunch of scientists. They're in Antarctica. What are they doing there? I don't know. It's not important. They're holed up in Antarctica. They're
being scientists.
Sciencey things. Anyway, they're in Antarctica and they're pretty much stuck up there until next season or whatever. And a dog enters the camp, and they discover that this dog came over from the camp nearby. They find out that the researchers nearby dug up some kind of alien creature, and throughout the movie they find out that this alien creature can shapeshift into anything, and so it becomes a situation of like which people in the camp are aliens or creatures and which are humans, and who
Does
can
it
they trust.
shapeshift into them, or it takes them over?
It takes it uses their body to it assimilates their body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's their body becomes assimilated into them, and so yes, the old body dies, and what gets left behind is like a bunch of bloody clothes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fantastic how they're trying to like figure out like who's still human, and also like how do we deal with the prospect of this thing getting out, and being exposed to like a larger population. It's a fucking great movie. So watch
Fantastic.
it. I fucking love it. I got to figure out what I'm going to watch with her next.
Don't watch the Abyss. It's poorly written.
Oh, I've seen The Abyss. It's not great. But I thought maybe The Shining. I feel like she could probably handle that.
Ooh, that's
but
scary.
it's a slow burn,
Very
she
scary.
might get bored. She was at the beginning of the movie like, this is taking a while, and I'm like, listen, you got to be patient, and not everything happens quickly like it does,
Yeah.
The Shining is scary as shit. Like, I'm still scared by the Shining as an adult, but I definitely saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I did too. She really wants to watch Nightmare on Elm Street, which I would love to show her, but there's like parts of it that are like
Sexual?
Very, yeah. And I don't know how to get around that. Like, I wish I could find I feel like I talked about this on the last podcast we did last month, but I'd love to find like an edited for TV version, because that's how I saw it when I was her age. Like, if I could get my hands on those.
Hey, you're an editor. You could edit it for
I know,
TV.
that's what I'm thinking. Download it and cut the pieces out.
Oh, it's so much work, you guys.
Yeah.
I've got so many things to edit as it
Yeah.
is. But
Yeah.
if I can get my shit together, maybe I can work something out by Halloween, because I think that nothing would make her happier than to watch Freddy Krueger on Halloween, and then probably have some nightmares, because I don't know, Freddy's pretty scary.
Especially since
I saw it as an adult
sleeping.
for the first time, and I thought it was silly when I saw it as a 21-year-old.
When I was a kid, Freddy Krueger was like at the height of his popularity, and I got nightmares just from the trailer.
Yep, I never watched the movies as a kid. I only saw like the creepy face pop up when it's like Freddy will return. I was like,
no, thank you.
Yeah, I can't see it through a kid's eyes, because I saw it as an adult. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
I was 8. I was 8 when I saw the first 20 minutes of Nightmare on Elm Street 1. It came on television, and it was so fucking terrifying that I turned it off and ran. Like, I was in the garage by myself watching it on this tiny black and white TV, and it was fucking terrifying. And I turned it off and ran upstairs, and then had nightmares for like the next 2 weeks.
Aww.
I used to have a recurring dream with Freddy where he was chasing me. And I was in elementary school, whatever. And at some point, because I knew some of the story things, because my cousins had talked about it. And I turned around and I was like, I'm not the one who did this to you. So you can't attack me, but I'll help you find the people responsible. You have to give me your glove or whatever. And I had that dream over and over for like a few years.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. I like how you really took charge of that. And you were like,
yeah.
Toss me the glove!
Give me the glove! It wasn't my fault! I'll help you find the people, but you have to kill only the guilty people.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a good
but I'm still a chicken shit even after that.
You still won't watch it?
Mm-mm. I mean, I'll watch. I like the feeling of watching like scary things, but I cannot watch it alone. Like, I just can't. Like, I'm just a big chicken shit. And if I can get you to spend the night after, then that's even better. Like, I will bribe you till here and back to get you just to stay with me a little bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-mm. That's why it's like I only get to see scary movies when I'm in relationships, usually.
You're like, in a relationship, you're like, we got to watch them all. You're like, I've got a
stack. You're in? You're here for at least 2 more weeks?
I've got a stack. We're going to get through all of these. Hereditary, done.
That's one on the list. That Insidious I haven't seen.
Have you seen her Hereditary, Nicole? Have you
I
seen
don't do dead kids.
Have you seen the other one, the
Midsummer
Korean one? No, the Korean one.
I saw Midsummer. Oh, the Ring one or the grunge one?
No,
well, I've seen the Ring and the
one that came out
I've actually seen
year.
I've seen the Japanese version
last year. The Korean one. You know what I mean?
The one,
I don't.
The P
Can't-
one with the
Parasite?
the one that won the.
Parasite.
Is that a scary movie?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I almost watched it.
I thought it was a drama.
It's a drama. It's a scary movie. It's a comedy. It has everything. It is fantastic. It is the best film I saw last year.
Okay. All
Wow.
right. Well, I should make it a point to see that.
Didn't it win an Oscar for best?
Yeah,
It did. It
feature or
won.
something?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
You need to see it, Nicole. You would appreciate it. It's a fantastic film.
Okay. All right. Check it out.
So if there's anyone out there who's looking for a relationship to watch scary movies,
if you like horror films,
call Vanessa at
call me up.
555-555-5555.
I just need you to promise to stay with me 2 weeks after the last thing we see.
We'll be screening all of Vanessa's suitors through Feminine Mistake
worth it.
gmail.com.
She is worth 2 weeks at least.
2 weeks, I'm worth it. I promise.
So here's a movie that I think you can watch without having to keep the lights on. Shall we talk about Clueless?
Yes.
Yeah, totally can watch that.
All right, so let's dive right back into this movie right about now.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man.
You look stupid and rich. Stupid and rich.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
There's just one more line that
Please.
that I liked. It was an exchange between Dion and Murray, and he's like, "Woman, lend me $5." And she was like, "Murray, I've asked you repeatedly not to call me woman." And he goes, "Okay, but street slang is an increasingly valid form of expression. Most of the feminine pronouns do have mocking, but not necessarily in misogynistic undertones."
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah,
That was a good one.
I was like, that was good. Okay.
I liked in general how they, I mean, I know that line wasn't particularly in line with that, but I think, well, it was, but I thought it was interesting how there was not really any showing of the girls getting particularly manipulated or anything. Like they just consistently stood up for themselves, like her saying, "Don't call me woman," the pushing away of the dudes. Like, they pretty consistently held their ground, which I liked.
I would love in this moment while we're talking about this to talk about her and Elton's car ride.
Yes, I was going to say that Elton was next on my list, so please, yes, let's do it.
Okay, so she tries to set Ty up with Elton, who is handsome and charming, I feel like, at least in the first act of the movie. And you can tell that he likes Cher. At least you
can tell.
It was very obvious.
Oh yeah, no, he's like kissing her in class, and
and that was confusing.
Then on the way, so and I thought the scene between them where he was trying to get her to get in the car with him, and she was trying to get Ty in the car, and they were trying to exchange rides. Like I think all of that was very funny. It's okay. She's meowing. It's cute. We like it.
I can get rid
about
of her.
it. No, you don't have to. She just wants.
Cute.
She wanted to chime in. It's okay. So they're in the car, driving back from the party, and I can't exactly remember. Oh, somehow they get into it where she says she's trying to set him up with Ty, and he's like, "Ew." Basically, his reaction, like, suddenly, I really don't like him. Right? Like, he's basically like saying that she's kind of breeding wise, like family name wise, there's some kind of family hierarchy where he like wants to only be with people of a certain family,
which is straight up from Emma.
Okay, well that makes sense. But then he tries to kiss her like a bunch of times, like
a billion times.
Moves in on her. She pushes him away. She says no a bunch of times. Like I feel like this guy is like, it may be very uncomfortable. Like he is like on his way to being a date rapist.
Yeah. And she finally escapes him by actually climbing out of the car.
And he leaves her stranded, and then she gets mugged.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But then they never deal with that. Like, I feel like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, they would have dealt with it. Like, there would have been some kind of comeuppance. or
Yeah, she basically just said, "Forget him. He's a jerk," kind of thing. It never.
yeah, like the only time we hear him again is when Ty is now pining after him and has to get over him. But there's never like there's a couple cutaways to him like having moved on to some other girl, but
The other girl, what's her face, Amber. No,
Amber, yeah. But I feel like the movie doesn't deal with what a absolute shit he was on. Like he was like it took it maybe in the 90s it didn't seem like it took it that far. I don't know, but it felt like he was very aggressive sexually and then left her outside and then there was never any
and then he moved on. Like, he doesn't get punished or anything. He literally gets another girlfriend.
they never talk about it. I mean, I guess that's
it's
realistic.
Well, have you guys watched any old like 1930s, 40s, 50s films? It was standard in those films for men to just grab women and kiss them. And I feel like as a kid, I saw lots of films, even up to that point, where that was just something you saw in like every film, was just like men would grab women and kiss them. So when I saw this, it was like, oh yeah, that's just what guys do.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that we would accept now.
No.
In a movie, thankfully. So at least we can say we made some progress. Or if we did see it in a movie, I don't know that guy would seem like, at that point, he would seem like a threat, or he would seem like a bad guy. Like, I don't think we'd see him as a hero or anything.
But I think, honestly, like, I think it's probably a lot of movies that will happen, then people will deal with it. But the reality is that we don't, though. That is still.
I wanted to see like a miniature schnauzer, like bite him in the testicles or something.
Oh my God.
Some kind of universal redemption.
Schnauzy poo.
Yeah, like maybe like a hacky sack from one of the tokers on the lawn knocks him right in the balls. I don't know. And then he's permanently
just something.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. It just seemed like, I was like, wow, this is really intense for this very fluffy movie. And then it just like we never really see him again. So I don't know how he was dealt with in the movie Emma. I don't know if there was any comparison that can be made there. Although you said that in the movie it was, again, a thing about breeding that he was concerned about.
Yeah. Yeah, it was more polite. Like, it was definitely more like, oh, like Emma was just like, no. And he got very, very upset. And yeah. But there was no like rapey stuff. At least not in the film.
Bordering on very rapey for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was definitely assault.
Yeah. Sarah, what else you got on your list?
So
we haven't even talked about Christian yet, who I remember coming
in
maybe much, much earlier in the movie.
He came in pretty late, I feel. Yeah.
I also don't remember recognizing that he was gay. And I don't think I caught on as quickly.
I caught on pretty quickly this time. Even I completely forgotten. Like, this was an aspect that I'd completely forgotten.
This is the part of the movie I actually kind of hate. I feel like Christian is a device and not a character, and I hate it. Like, he doesn't get, once he comes in and she has a crush on him, and then she finds out he's gay. He never tells her himself. There's never a moment where he reveals that to her, or that she says that, or even not that he has to, or that she accepts it. He just becomes like her shopping buddy. He's not even at the wedding at the end of the movie. Like, I was like, okay, we're cutting away to all these couples. Can we not cut to Christian with like his boyfriend or something? Like, it just felt like he was being used as a device.
Yeah.
And I understand this is the 90s and maybe people were not really sure what to do with LGBT characters yet, but he just felt like not like they didn't really give him.
He was pretty two-dimensional,
and he was a set of stereotypes.
All the
too. Like, he dressed well, liked to dance, liked to go shopping, liked old films with
Billie Holiday,
Tony Curtis, and
Rock Hudson,
right? I really liked his, like, the actor, the way he played him, though. I thought he was very, I don't know, I just liked his vibe.
Yeah, he was good. I liked him too. I was very sad that he felt like he couldn't just tell her, like, oh, I'm sorry, I I don't. I like men, but we can hang out and watch this movie.
Yeah. I'm curious if that, like, what the decision making behind that was, if it was like for ratings, like maybe you can't outright, I don't know, have a gay character be like,
Well,
this is me.
I had a gay friend in middle school who didn't come out till he was in 8th grade, and my best friend and I had a big crush on him in like 6th and 7th grade, and we kind of like told him, and he just like didn't respond and kind of didn't say anything, and it wasn't discussed until he came out the next year. So I think like if you're young around, I mean, like yes, we were,
But he knew
in
he was
7th
out.
grade.
Like he knew he wasn't questioning. He just wasn't.
Yeah,
Right.
Um,
On the other hand, though, she didn't like, oh my God, he's gay. Like
that's
it didn't
true.
affect their
Although,
relationship.
yeah, there was bordering on a little bit of homophobia in the way that
when the
It
car,
was-
the
tells
car,
her,
car ride, yeah.
I think particularly from him, though, not like as soon as they were like, no way. I think the disbelief, I didn't have a problem, but then it didn't seem like they were like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, she continued
They
to
were
hang
like,
out with him.
oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the euphemisms that the Murray
Yeah.
used, I didn't care for.
Which I
yeah.
think that we can say generally there were several euphemisms and jokes in this movie that don't like that are are not
like
cool.
the R word.
There was a lot of
Yes.
racial. The R word for sure. There was a lot of racial, and I'm going to put it in quotation marks, humor, racial quotations in this movie. A variety of different races.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I don't think that you would
Like the tardiness little bit that he went through where the Asian student was on time and whatever, and I think it was like the Hispanic student or whatever was late, but then the like
and when she's pointing out the different groups during lunch. So there was all that. So yeah, I definitely think this movie suffers from what a lot of 90s entertainment does, which is insensitivity on multiple levels that we would just not tolerate today.
Yeah.
But Christian, I think, is a big problem for me. I really was like, at the end, I was like, why is he, first of all, why is he not at the wedding? And then secondly, why does everybody else get to have a relationship and he doesn't?
But also, why is this character here? Why is he gay?
Mm-hmm.
What does it teach her? Like, I mean, he's a fun character, but like, what is his role in the film? I guess in her
like, how does he help her develop?
Yes,
right. And how does he develop as a character?
You're right.
Well, he definitely doesn't. Like, he came in and left the way exactly he was.
Yeah.
So that was a big problem for me.
Yeah. He also, the first time they meet, he says nice stems for her legs. Sorry, that's just another line I just thought was so funny.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Stems.
Yeah, there's some
I would love
catchy,
someone to say nice
lines.
stems to me.
Well, you have beautiful stems, Sarah.
Thank you.
I can tell you that every day. All right. I feel like we're sort of coming to the end here. I'd really like to address the Paul Rudd shaped elephant in the room, and that is that ultimately Cher, so she likes Christian, finds out he's gay. They never talk about it, but they remain friends. And then Ty, who is now over Elton, shows interest in her stepbrother Josh, which leads to a fight because Cher realizes that she is in love with stepbrother Josh. So I'd like to talk about this because in 1995, I fucking didn't like it. I was like, ew. First of all right, I'm just going to let you guys talk. Does it bother you that he's her stepbrother? Are you happy when they get together at the end?
Can I answer? Okay. So, I think that they probably didn't grow up together. They probably like their parents were married when they were like maybe like in middle school or something, and they probably didn't live to get together. And so I don't.
She mentions that they were also only together for like 3 years or something.
Okay, 3 years.
His mom and her dad, something like that.
They were only together for 3 years. I think that the movie really tried to drive home the point. Like, this is not creepy. Like,
Right.
they had several lines that were like, well, he's not really my brother. Or he's like a step brother. Like, they threw in things like that to make it seem not as creepy. I think that it would depend. Like, if I had a step brother, but I didn't really feel like I was related to him, I would have no problem with that. I think that the taboo of being with a sibling is so profound that even if someone is like a pretend sibling, it feels creepy. But it really is just a pretend sibling because they're not related at all.
Vanessa.
No, I agree. I was actually more concerned at the end because I see Paul Rudd as like a man. Like not in the movie, but like I was still creeped out.
Teenagers in this movie are 30 years old.
Yeah, but I still like at the end it was like, like she's 16 and he's in college.
He's in college. Yeah,
that's gross.
That's also a problem. I hadn't even.
That's the part. Yeah, that creeped me out more than the whole sibling, not really sibling thing. Just because, I mean, I think they did a good job of being like, okay, we kind of technically their parents were married, but it didn't last long. And the dad just kind of clung to, just there was a connection between the dad and his stepson.
Sure. I think that on paper, like step siblings and one's in college, one's in high school, that's bad. But the way that Alicia Silverstone and Paul Rudd were together, like, I liked them together, but on paper, it sounds bad.
This makes me want to barf. I don't like it. As a person who has divorced parents and has people that are in my family by marriage, I assure you, I do not think of them as fake siblings or fake. I'm just saying, like, when I was around 10, that's when my mother and my stepfather got together. And that is when I started hanging out with my cousins who are in his family, and we went on camping trips and shit together. And I assure you, while we are not in any way related by blood, I feel those guys feel like blood relatives to me. In no way would I ever consider them in a sexual way. And I do think it's inappropriate and gross and weird. The age difference is also weird and gross. And I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's gross. And the reason I looked up Emma after the movie was I was like, are they just adhering to the book? And no, in the book, Mr. Knightley is her sister's brother-in-law, which I think is far more acceptable, while still gross in this time period. Certainly in the time period when that movie or that book took place, it would have been completely normal. Also, why is he not just an intern? Why can't he just be one of her father's interns? Why does he have to be her brother? Like, in what universe does he have to be her brother? Like, why is this part of the narrative? I don't understand.
Okay, so in the first scene between Mr. Knightley and Emma, he refers to himself as a brotherly figure in her life. It's like how he introduces himself. He's like, well, their relationship is like a brother-sister relationship in Emma, even though they're not actually brother and sister. So I think this might have been Amy Heckerling's way of creating that kind of dynamic in a way that the audience could understand, that would say, like, when you see them at the beginning, it's like, oh, well, of course they can't end up together. They have this kind of relationship where that's
because they're fucking related.
They're not related.
But did you catch the part too where she goes out with Christian all dolled up or whatever, and Paul Rudd is all, should I go? I should go. Should I go? And the dad kind of gives to me a look of like, almost like he knows that Paul Rudd now has a crush on his daughter.
I didn't see that at all.
Yes, and then he was like,
I didn't. That is not something that is not what I saw going on there. I felt like he was sending this young man, this upstanding young man, his son, to go look after his daughter, because they're brother and sister. Also,
rewatch it. I'm telling you, he has a little like...
There's a reason why we don't see her father at the end of the movie. It's because they don't want to deal with how gross this is, and how her father absolutely would not be okay with it. What did he say to Christian? I have a 45 and a shovel and no one will miss you. That is how... And you think that he'd be okay with his stepson and his
He likes his
daughter,
stepson though.
it doesn't
I
Yeah.
think so.
matter.
Watch it. I'm telling you, watch it again, and he totally has a look of like.
Also, I think you're
he
right.
likes
I think
her.
you're right, Sarah. But I will say, like, they could have achieved that same thing if Paul Rudd's character maybe he didn't have a great relationship with his family, or his dad wasn't in the picture, and Cher's dad was kind of like a father figure to them, and maybe he's been around the family for a long time and is kind of like it's like a mentor mentee situation, and now he's interning at dad's law firm. That would make so much more sense than this fucking. I don't like
Yeah.
it. I don't support it. I don't sign off on it. And that is one of the biggest problems for this movie is at the end, I don't want to see them kiss.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it. I don't want it. It's not good. And I don't want it. That's what
I
I'll say
always
about that.
liked it as a kid. Like I always thought it was very romantic. I didn't really pick up on the sibling thing though. But something about me is that it's very hard for me to consider someone family. Like I really only consider my mom and dad and brother as my family, even though I have a giant extended family. I've only met them a few times.
Mhm.
I don't consider them actual family. And so I completely relate to not really seeing someone as a member of your family if they're not related to you, or even not seeing them as a member of your family if they are related to you and you just don't know them that well. So
Fair enough.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't think her dad's going to walk her down the aisle is all I'm saying.
I disagree. Watch that scene.
Gonna be
I
there.
will put money on
He's going
it.
to be in a window with a shotgun pointed at Paul Rudd's head.
No. I'm telling you, that moment was 100% him being like,
Let's get some playback here.
Cute.
Nicole, cue it up.
Let's go to Video Village. I need to see the playback. All right. Final thoughts on Clueless. Final thoughts. And would you recommend to a friend?
I actually specifically did not recommend this to a friend today.
Oh, so you literally would not recommend this to
I literally did not recommend this to a friend who I thought wouldn't like it. So yes.
Okay. And so did it live up to the hype of your youth?
Yes.
Okay, so you liked it, and other people you think would like it, but not this one person.
Well, I actually wouldn't really recommend this to anyone. It kind of is really dated, and it's not very good. But I always enjoyed it, and it was still fun. So I think that's just what it is. It's just fun, but it's nothing profound. You know.
Sure. Nope, I think that's fair. Vanessa, your final thoughts on Clueless?
I was actually surprised that I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
Mhm.
I mean, again, it's a fun movie, easy to watch, background noise.
Yeah, it's a good background movie. Vacuum. While
but
watching it. Vacuum.
Right. Yeah.
Vacuum.
But I feel like I remember enjoying it more younger. Like I went into it thinking like, oh, this is gonna be fun, and I was like, oh, okay, that was all right.
Yeah.
So it was all right.
I feel like one of the biggest problems for me for this movie, besides the disgusting brother-sister incest romance, is that I think the third act is just like missing. Like they just got they got to the end and then they were like, oh shit, we're already at 100 pages. Let's just wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
There's no third act. It's like suddenly the movie's over. And
Yeah.
so there's like a bunch of shit that didn't get tied up. So my final thoughts are it was a fun walk down memory lane of the 90s.
Mhm.
That's a good way to put it.
I have the exact same feelings about it that I did then, which is that was entertaining, and then I'm promptly going to forget about it. And I love Amy Hecker-Lang, and I think there's a lot of really smart writing and fun moments in this movie, but I would say go watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High instead. That's what my recommendation would be. Shall we do the Bechdel test?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I feel like I was not even paying attention. I hope you were.
I paid attention.
Thank
yes.
God.
So
Thank
it
God for
passed
Sarah.
very early and often.
All right.
So,
So,
Nice.
is there more than one female character in this movie?
Yes.
Do
Many.
those characters have names?
Yes.
Do they talk to each other?
Yes.
Do they talk about something other than a man?
Yes. They do.
Yeah, they do. I mean, and do you have anything specific? Now that I'm thinking about it, I believe that is true.
I forgot to write down specifics. I just
Like,
wrote
they
down
talk
that it
about
I'm
passed.
trying to think of
They
it. I'm
talk
like,
about a lot of
Talk about
things.
fashion. They talk about her driver's license. There's like a ton of things that they,
Yeah.
the boys is a thing they talk about a lot, but they also talk about grades.
Grades for sure. Yeah.
So there is a lot of they have other things going on and other concerns besides boys.
Yeah.
So so it definitely passes the Bechdel test. Way to go, Amy. Welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show. Oh my God, Sarah, you're hiding behind your microphone. Are you okay?
I wanted to see how much I could hide.
It looks like you have a great big blue nose. Welcome to Plug
she's
It Up.
turning into a puppet.
This is the part of the show where we talk about all the fun things that we're up to in addition to this podcast and where you can find them. Let's start with our guest, Vanessa.
Cool. Pretty simple. VanessaAranegui.com, crackedhalocreative.com.
Nice.
And if you just look at those, you can find all the social medias under each of those. But I am in the process of rebuilding all of my social media presence and everything. So hopefully by the time this airs, it'll all be ready to go. But I'll be promoting myself as an actor, assistant director, all that stuff that I do. And then also my acting coaching, project management, which I recently just did for Electric Boudoir, which was amazing.
The photo shoot was fantastic.
Yeah, it was 31 nights of Halloween boudoir, and so every day he's
cool.
posting up a theme. Yeah, it was super fun. And he's a type B person, so like me bringing in my type A stuff is kind of what I like. It's like I can do a spreadsheet.
Oh, spreadsheets! I love spreadsheets.
Yes. And then also some studio rental and things like that, so you can check that out.
Awesome. Yeah. Please go check that out. Listeners, check out those photos and Vanessa's work. She's doing a lot of amazing stuff.
Working on it.
So I would like to plug our production company, Critical Crop Top. Critical Crop Top produces this podcast as well as other podcasts, live comedy shows, films, etc. We've got a YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube and find all of our old films. We're actually also this vidcast. So if you're listening to us with your ear headphones, your ear holes, you can also look at us with your eye holes on Critical Crop Top's YouTube channel. So that's Critical Crop Top. We upload the video portion of this podcast as well as sketches. So we're uploading our sketches from our live shows. And we have a sketch comedy web show that we've shot totally virtually. Vanessa is in as well. So check that out. And you can find Critical Crop Top on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Critical Crop Top. Also, if you'd like to engage with us in a healthy dose of thirst, we also
Unhealthy.
Did you say unhealthy?
Unhealthy. I'm joking. It's fine. It's totally fine.
It's a totally appropriate amount of thirst.
Totally chill
for quarantine.
Yep. For
quarantine levels of thirst. Sarah and I do another podcast called the Adam and Andy podcast, where we only watch Adam Driver and Andy Samberg movies. Recently we watched The Dead Don't Die, and at the time of this recording, we will have also watched 7 Days in Hell, right? 7 Days in Hell?
Yes, 7 Days in Hell.
We've also watched Less Than Jesse Forever. We've watched Marriage Story. So we've got a couple episodes under the belt at this point. So go check it out. We're on Stitcher. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Adam and Andy Podcast. And you can find us on Twitter at Adam Andy Pod. We would love to hear what you think about this show, the one that you're listening to right now, the Feminine Mistake Podcast. So reach out to us over the social medias. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Feminine Mistake Podcast. And you can find us on Twitter at FemMistakePod. And if you'd like to leave us a review and tell us what you think about the show.
A good review.
A good review, a glowing review.
A deep review, at least.
A deep thinking review.
Provoke.
Just a
complimentary.
A tartan, a black and yellow tartan review with with thigh high socks. We didn't talk about this, but the thigh high socks were out of control in this movie.
Out of control.
Out of control.
The yellow plaid.
Yellow plaid. Yep.
Bonkers.
I don't remember if there was actually that much yellow plaid in the 90s. I think I even remember in the 90s being like, that's an awful lot of yellow plaid.
Mm-hmm.
But who am I to stop you?
No one.
Nobody.
You're no one.
But tell us your favorite 90s memories. Tell us your favorite obscure 90s products that didn't get a shout out in this movie.
Exactly.
And
Caboodles?
Caboodles. I still have a caboodle.
Me too.
I have a caboodle right now.
My dad gave me one when I was 4. When I turned 4, I got a caboodle.
And what did you put in there at the age of 4?
I put I think it was like beads. It was beads.
Oh. That sounds like a good use for that. I have all my makeup in there, which I know is basic as hell, but I actually became, this is going to sound insane. I bought a caboodles at Target because the 90s are back, right? Although I bought this thing like 2 years ago. And it made me interested in buying makeup. Like suddenly, now that I have a caboodle, I wanted to fill it with makeup. And now I'm obsessed with buying eyeshadow palettes like everybody else in quarantine.
I have like 36 eyeshadow palettes.
Where do you even store those?
On the top shelf of my perfume closet.
I'm sorry, you're what?
You have a perfume closet?
I have a perfume closet.
Are you Cher? Look at your coat rack. Look at your rack of clothes with your 30. Do you get up in the morning and type in your app and have the eyeshadows just like match up your outfit?
I actually took pictures of each palette and put it on an album on my phone so that I can look them up to see what I need to pick, so I don't just like look through all of them. Because
that
I have
is
so
amazing.
many.
That is amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Okay,
I'm not a hoarder. I'm a gatherer.
I mean, I feel like you're on your way to being a one-woman like professional makeup person. Like 30. I don't even how many. That's like so many colors. How do you even have that many colors of eyeshadow?
And are they really that different?
I'm jealous.
A lot of them are different. You shouldn't be jealous. It's a problem.
I am jealous. I'm thoroughly jealous.
I'm jealous of your palettes. I'm jealous that you have a perfume closet.
I'll show you.
I'm jealous that you have a little Swiftly Share app to organize all that.
I feel like you're like one of those Victorian ladies who has like a boudoir.
I do.
Your perfume closet.
Okay, to be clear, it's a linen closet in my bathroom that's filled with perfume.
Posh.
I think you should just only call it a perfume closet. You know, I also have closets with things in them. From now on, I'm going to refer to my pantry as my chip closet. This is my chip closet where I store my chips.
I'm just a commoner with a perfume shelf.
Vanessa, thank you for being on the show. We have had so much fun with you. And thank you, listeners, for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
With your eye holes. I'm sorry.
With your eye holes.
With your eye holes.
With your
listening to our mouth holes with your ear holes.
30 different shades of eyeshadow.